Oh, hey, welcome back, and actually, good morning, because well, what time is it? It's 7 o'clock, Monday morning. And I made a video the other day about the Mossberg 500, but today's video is going to be something that I regret that I haven't made yet for everybody to see. And no, it's not about the red dot. That is going to be one of the topics of today. But today's video is going to be about firearm safety, and that occurred to me because I have been having a debate on one of my YouTube videos, my state capitol video, with another YouTube person, and he said that, well, he said some long, drawn-out things. His first comments were something about, that me open carrying a gun makes me a target, that cops get shot all the time for carrying it, and then that I would get shot versus some girl riding her bike, which hopefully I would get shot versus some girl riding her bike. I would prefer that to happen any single day of my life. But more of the reason for doing the gun safety is, so I went to his channel to see, I asked him, hey, how do you contribute to our to America? Have you done anything? So I want to see if he had any videos. So he has one video up, and his one video, it's like 50 seconds long. And within the first 4 seconds, so he's got a shotgun, and within the first 4 seconds of the video, he muzzle sweeps somebody that's standing like right next to him. And he's probably going to deny that. His video is going to be right after this video in here. I downloaded it, and I'll put it in here. But you can see shadows of people that are standing right there, and then they walk by. So not everybody knows gun safety. And it was really funny. Let me read to you a few other comments that he had made, not about my video, but I don't know if you guys watch any of Corey and Erica's videos, but so on their One Handed Malfunction video, he says that this type of training is cool, but it's so incredibly, well, that's all it shows because it won't let me, it's from 7 months ago, but he goes on to say that it's incredibly unlikely to happen, and blah, 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 and he's been in situations before, this, that, and other. Well, so that leads me to believe that, okay, if he is a real gun enthusiast, there's two types of people that I'm concerned with firearm safety practices. One is the beginner that doesn't know anything. The second is the person that's been shooting for a while and just becomes complacent. And both of them are equally as dangerous to me in my consideration. So with that, let me go ahead and show you, read to you guys the 4 rules of firearm safety, the basic rules, and these are from Colonel Jeff Cooper, who is I don't know if you guys know of him. Hopefully, if you're a gun person, you know about him. He was a U.S. Marine. Well, he is a U.S. Marine. He's passed away since then. I think he died in like 2006. But he came up with all kinds of good firearm safety related things in training. I think he spent over like 40 years total of being a firearms instructor. And he died when he was like 86 or something like that. So he put in a life of service to us gun enthusiasts. If you're a 1911 person, or you know of 1911s, you know of the carrying conditions 1, 2, 3, 4. I think there's a 0 or something like that. He's the one who came up with those. So the guy knows what he's talking about, and it's a good reason to believe what he says when he writes these 4 basic rules for firearm safety. And these are quoted out of what does this say? The American Pistol Institute from 1977. So back in 1977, people were doing these things. So let me read to you just the bold header for all 4 of them. So number 1, all guns are always loaded. Number 2, never let the muzzle cover anything you are not willing to destroy. Number 3, keep your finger off the trigger until your sights are aligned with the target. And number 4, be sure of your target and its surroundings. So let me go a little bit more in depth of what he says for these, and bear with me while I freeze my butt off. It's pretty cold out right now. So anyway, number 1, I like to say, treat all guns if they're loaded all the time, no matter what. And it said, treat every gun as if it was loaded at all times, no matter what. Think and believe every time the gun is handled, it could fire. And that's pretty much one of the, to me, there's a reason why that's number 1. It's the most important one. Number 2, never let the muzzle cover anything you're not willing to destroy. It says, be cautious of the direction your muzzle is pointed at all times. This includes at yourself, any other person's, animal, or property, unless you're either intending or do not care about destroying or killing that person or object. Never handle a gun behind other people or bend over with a gun in your hand at a shooting range. And then number 3, keep your finger off the trigger until your sights are aligned with the target. Pay attention to what you're doing while handling a firearm. Do not let your finger contact the trigger until the gun is on target. That's a pretty important one too. Well, these are all important. And number 4, be sure of your target and its surroundings. Pay attention to what is going on around your target. You're responsible for sorry, it's hard to glare and everything. You're responsible, and it's really small print. Pay attention. Let me restart this whole thing. Just cut this and we'll go right back to number 4. Okay, so be sure of your target and its surroundings. Pay attention to what is going on around your target. You're responsible for the terminal resting place of the bullet, intentionally fired or not, no matter what happened. So those are the 4 firearms safety rules, and he broke probably, I don't know, 3 of them. I watched the video on my iPhone, so I didn't get to see a full thing to tell if his finger was on the trigger, and I don't even remember if he actually had a round loaded or if he had to pump it and chamber around before he was sweeping people. But either way, he was sweeping people. So that goes back to what I said is I apologize. I should have made a firearm safety video for everybody because there's room for improvement on everybody, including myself. I like to think that I abide by all 4 of those rules at all times. Let me tell you that I come out here all the time by myself, and so I get complacent. I'm one of those 2 kinds of people that I talk about, that I get complacent. You know, I'm out here all the time. I can just take this gun and, you know, do whatever I want because I know that there's nobody, you know, around here for endless miles. There's nobody right here. But it's always important to make sure that you follow those rules. If you want, I'm sure you can Google it and take a range safety class. The NRA sponsors a lot of classes. A lot of different ranges have them. And they're really important because, you know, you never know. Just like, you know, my daily carry piece, the Smith & Wesson MP9. So there is no safety on it at all on the version that I have. And I carry it with a round in the chamber. So one of the things that you got to do when you do that is to obviously make sure that you keep your finger off of the trigger until you're on target, ready to fire. And that's because there's no safety on here, so it's extremely easy trigger pull. And all you got to do is, while you're pulling it out, you know, get the wrong grab on it, or maybe you have one of those ones that I don't like that have that little retention button you got to push, you know, and then that makes it, to me, that's dangerous. So good thing is to just never touch the trigger until you're on target, ready to fire, like it says, and always act like it's always treat it loaded. Unfortunately, in my lifetime of gun things, I've only been disarmed by a law enforcement personnel just one time, and I was in my truck, and it was at one of the Border Patrol checkpoints that I go through, and my daughter was in the vehicle. He took my handgun out. I told him, you know, when an actual state trooper came, I told him that, you know, I was carrying, showed him my concealed carry permit and everything, which legally in the state of New Mexico you don't have to. This vehicle is an extension of my home. I can do whatever I want inside of it. As far as my firearm's concerned, I can just sit in my center console and drive around. But I told him that I had a firearm because I was getting, I had to get out of my vehicle, and my gun was on my hip, and that's where my seatbelt was at. So I told him, you know, hey, I don't want there to be any confusion, and so I had my firearm taken away from me. He told me, hey, put your hands out the window. I put my hands out the window. He reached in, took my firearm, and took my seatbelt off. And so then I come back and I have my discussion with them, end up having to answer their questions at the Border Patrol checkpoint, aka Nazi checkpoint, in case you're a believer in that. And I asked him, you know, when I was finally cleared to go, I said, okay, can I have my gun back? And it was laying in the back of the bed of my truck, and I was extremely unhappy about that. Magazine was in it, and it's just laying there. And so I asked him, I said, hey, could you please, you know, secure my firearm? My daughter is in the vehicle. There's people around here. Secure it. Don't just leave it sitting there. So he goes over there, you know, picks it up, comes back to the back of my truck. I can't remember if we dropped the tailgate or whatever, but he checks the magazine, pulls the slide back, you know, racks the slide, and he's like, it's not even it's not even loaded. There wasn't one chambered. I was like, sir, that is always loaded. Firearm is always loaded, and I treat them all the time that they're always loaded. So that just goes to show that there's people of all calibers, of the one or two people that I say that don't always abide by the firearm safety rules and can get you injured. The only other thing ever like that I had that I was actually worried about was I was at the range, and this is one of the #1 reasons why I don't go to the range. Cold range, walk down, check target, walking back, and the guy and his wife, she was holding the rifle, and pointed down to where we were, and it was, that's one of the big no-nos at a range. You call a range cold, nobody touches their guns, go down, check your target, come back. I mean, you don't even load a magazine or handle any gun things or anything at the counter, or at your table or bench or whatever you got. So firearm safety is always important. So anyway, we're going to pause the video just because we're going to go into the next part of the video that I want to do today for the red dot that's on my shotgun. So hold on a minute.
You done? You recording?
Yeah.
All right.
Wait, don't do it yet, Chris.
You done? You recording?
Yeah.
All right.
Wait, don't do it yet, Chris.
Come on.
Hold on. Did we make it in the video?
You ready?
Good.
All right.
Oh my god.
Oh boy.
I feel like I got shot.
Oh shit.
Jam it.
We got a problem.
It's smoke.
Oh, nice.
I'm not shooting. I am.
Nice.
God.
Jamming.
Your thing's coming in.
Oh.
I did not make it in the war.